So what's better, Social Security, disability, or SSI? I have a strong opinion on it, but I know that there can be exceptions and people have alternating opinions. I think Social Security disability is the obvious choice if one has paid for it and has that option. Of course, you can't get SSI if you have SSD that would put you over the limit. So you're going to be forced to take SSD if you are insured for it before SSI welfare is going to give you any of their monies because you have some of your own. But some of the best things about Social Security disability are the following. When you work part-time in a disabled fashion and you earn money, you don't have to give any of it back as long as you remain disabled and keep under those monetary limits. You know, it's not a dollar for dollar offset like it, like to some degree it would be with SSI, which has a $1 back for every $2 earned. And you can only do that up to a certain limit because then all your SSI is going to be gone. You're not on SSI anymore. SSD that doesn't have that role because it's not needs-based, it's not welfare, it's insurance you bought and paid for. Another benefit from SSD is that in time, you will be eligible for Medicare. Sometimes by the time you win, the time has already passed long enough and you're eligible for Medicare. The general rule is you have to have received or been paid constructively or otherwise 24 months of Social Security disability benefits. It could be that you are paid a lump sum of 27 months because it's been a couple of years and you will already be eligible for Medicare. And so if they don't send you a card, you need to get on it, okay? You don't want time to pass. Sometimes if your Social Security disability is low enough and you don't have other income in your household that would apply to prevent this, some people are still, despite SSD, if they didn't have a very high SSD amount, maybe they didn't have a really strong work income record, they could be dual eligible for Medicaid and Medicare. And what's nice about that, even though it means your lower income, it actually will cover, I believe, your deductible, your co-pays. So you really can come out kind of ahead. And what's unfortunate is if someone has SSD and it's $2, is my understanding, $2 over that limit that would allow you that concurrent benefit, which saves you hundreds, they don't get it just because they got that extra $2. So I kind of wish they'd have some sort of sliding scale with that, but they don't yet. And that might be a little complicated and, you know, in a system that's kind of overwhelmed as it is, but that I find to be a little unfortunate. So that can be frustrating for people. But the Medicare, which is obviously, I think most people prefer Medicare over Medicaid. It does come with a premium. And that's why when one can be concurrent, it can be helpful. There's a premium, there is a deductible, and there are co-pays unless you're able to secure some kind of plan that does not have it. And I'm not going to go into Medicare plans at all, but always remember that you have your traditional Medicare, which is like that 80-20 with, you know, co-pays and premium and deductible. Then there is Advantage plans, which have their good parts and their bad parts. And those are usually really super cheap, if any kind of premium. But again, they have their strings attached. And then there's supplement plans, aka Medigap, that kind of thing. And that's like in addition to your regular Medicare, it fills in all those co-pays, deductibles, and such. So that's super helpful. But in any event, that's one of the benefits of SSD over SSI. SSI, the benefit is you get the Medicaid by and large, and you don't pay for it. So which is really important because when you're on SSI, the maximum you're ever going to get is $914 from the federal government. And it's not that easy to live on. It does often, not because it says it must, but because localities, states, and cities or counties have programs that say, hey, if you're on SSI, we're also going to give you XYZ. So sometimes that lower income that allows you to get the SSI when you're disabled or aged over 65 will also be the thing that gets you housing assistance, utility assistance, certainly food stamps, right? So that is the benefit of the SSI aspect. I happen to just I prefer SSD. I think people are more content with it overall. It also doesn't keep its thumb on your neck the whole time because it's not, I mean, the requirement is that you remain disabled and unable to work full time and are not earning over SGA. With SSI, Every month is a unique month, and you have to report on that month. If you had income come in, it could be gifted money, it could be earned money, it could be lottery, it could be gambling, whatever. You have to report it, and it might very well make you ineligible for that $914 month you just had, and you're going to owe it back. And that's not fun. Everything is month to month, thumb on the neck. Okay. SSD, you don't have that because this is your insurance benefits. You bought them. It's not welfare. It's not a handout. It's not charity. Okay. So anyway, people's opinions are going to vary. I think by and large, people think Social Security is far better than SSI, but there are, like I just mentioned, a couple pluses with SSI. So, it won't really matter because you're either going to have Social Security disability or you're not, or you'll be concurrent because your SSD is so low. But that's just a little share as to some of the benefits of the SSD versus SSI. SSD, like I said, if you want to work, you can, as long as you remain disabled and you do report your income, but keep up with your medical. So it's very clear that you couldn't be doing more and working full time. And you get to keep all of your earnings and all of your Social Security disability. Nothing's going to be offset with that. Okay. All righty. Hope that explains a little bit of some of the differences and the positives and the negatives of SSD and SSI. Bye now.